Hello everyone, how is everybody doing? I am back speaking about yesterday's game. I know it was yesterday, but obviously I'll explain why I haven't been posting over these past few days. Look, Bologna to Roma nil. First of all, apologies. I was in the Netherlands for my friend's birthday. So after that Sheriff game, I didn't post anymore. Apologies. I am back. I rewatched the game yesterday evening because I was on the plane flight coming back Rome when that game was live. But I rewatched the game, and I am in a position to speak about it. So apologies for that. We are back. Feyenoord, obviously, but we'll speak about Feyenoord tonight. I'm gonna do a double live stream today. So I'll give you my reaction on the Feyenoord team facing us in the playoffs this evening. This is all about the game because I have a lot to say about this game. I have a lot to say about the situation, and I have a lot to say about Mourinho's words and Mourinho's post-match press conference. The first thing which I want to do is ask everybody here, is anybody actually surprised? Is anybody surprised about this? Because I am not surprised at all. What did I say after that Fiorentina game in the match reaction? We are going to lose against Bologna because this team is extremely dependent on Dybala and Lukaku. And if you get those two players away from this team is shit. And I can get called negative. Oh, I'm negative. Oh, you're always negative. You're always negative. But the reality is, this is the truth. How can we be surprised in losing this game against a team that plays football, against a team without its two best players who doesn't play football? And that's my first question to everybody. I have read so many comments on Instagram posts of Roma fans going, oh my god, Bologna should never beat us. Look at the situation and analyze it correctly. Just because their name is Bologna doesn't mean they're not a tough side. Bologna plays football. Have we seen how Bologna play football? And yet, how can we remain surprised if a team that plays football beats us? Because we don't play football. We do not play football. Especially without Dybala and Lukaku. So I'm not surprised whatsoever. Am I disappointed? Of course I'm disappointed. Because once again, this is another big game. We don't win big games. And we'll get into this in a second. Of course I'm disappointed. This is a massive win. You know, we in the space of a week, we went from 4th to 8th. Of course I'm disappointed. Of course I'm pissed. Of course I'm embarrassed. But am I surprised? I am not surprised whatsoever. Bologna are the dark horses of this team, of this league. Bologna are revolutionary. They're the revelation of this season. They literally won every single big game apart from Milan and Fiorentina. They got 1 point in against Juventus in Turin. They got 1 point against Napoli. They got 1 point in Milan against Inter. Before just snubbing them just because their name is Bologna, analyze the team. They are scary. Do I think they can get top 4? No, I don't. Because I don't think they will keep this rhythm. But until they're living such a good moment, I can only applaud. I can only applaud to what Thiago Motta is doing with that team. As a Roma fan, I can only applaud. And I wish them all the best. If they get Champions League football next season, it's a miracle. And the entire football world needs this miracle. In other words, if Bologna get Champions League football, it's well deserved. Bologna is a big team this season. Look, I mean, speaking about the game, I've rewatched the game as I said, and there is no passion. There is no passion whatsoever in these players. There is an attitude problem. This is the problem with Roma. This is the problem why we don't win big games. This is the problem why we never play in big games. This is the problem why we never create chances in big games. And I know we created a few chances, but we deserve to. We got literally outdone by Bologna. We deserve to admit that. We got a football lesson by Bologna yesterday. So, you know, this is an attitude problem. This is 100% an attitude problem. And I always say this, but I need to repeat it once again. We do not win big games. How are we expected to get Champions League football if we don't even play in big games? You know, this is something which I just cannot understand. How do people expect this team to get top four if, including me, if we don't win big games? It's impossible. It is actually impossible. It's an impossible task. And we have to analyze this situation. We have to analyze and take action because this is recurring. This is recurring. This is recurring. For how many years now are we saying that this team is mediocre? From 2001, from the time we won that last league title. This team has been mediocre in the past 23 years. And why, for the love of God, in 23 years' time, we have always followed the same project? No matter who the ownership is, no matter who the manager is, no matter who the players are, no matter the budget on the transfer window, always the same project. When will we understand that we cannot buy big names? Because the only big names that we can get are broken players, deadwood. When will we realize that we don't have the money to get big names? And therefore, why haven't we changed the project? Why haven't we changed the fucking project? Always the same, year in and year out. It's becoming a clear pattern. You know, I want to act as if Bologna's game yesterday, it needs to act as a turning point. And I have hope. Because what Mourinho said post-match it gives me hope of a turnover, of a change of project. You know, you look at Bologna. Bologna don't have a massive budget. Bologna don't have big names in their team. Bologna don't have a Champions League team. But the reason why Bologna is currently fourth, and the reason why Bologna is playing fantastic football, and the reason why Bologna is surprising everyone, is because they've got hungry players. It's because they have players who want to fight for their badge and want to dream with their fans. And that is the excuse me. That is the reason why Bologna is flying high. Because every single player in that Bologna teams give its actual best in every single game. Speaking about the goalkeeper, to Calafiori, who is literally not even a centre-back. He's been turned into a centre-back at the age of 22. And he's playing with passion. To Ferguson, Scottish national. To Zirkzee up front. To Ndoye on the left wing. Everybody in that team wants to fight with their fans and with their badge. This team lacks hungry players. Until we keep on playing with Spinazzola, who looks like a camel who doesn't drink for the past 3 months. Until we play, and this is revolutionary, because I will say it after 3 years, until we are playing with Pellegrini on that pitch, until we are playing with Renato Sanchez on that pitch, where are we expected to go? With players who don't give a shit about this team. With players who don't give a shit about this badge. That is not, and what Mourinho said post-match gives me hope. Because what Mourinho said post-match is extremely important. As the central person of this team, he is saying, in other words, this project ain't working out. I want to stay. He's publicly said he wants to stay. I want to stay. But maybe, with all of the FFP things, we should consider a change of project. because it's not good enough. The transfer windows are not successful. You know, yeah, it's the way we spend the money. And you know, today, I could have easily, like a majority of fans, gone in front of these cameras and said it's Mourinho's problem. But I will not say it's Mourinho's problem, because yes, Mourinho was shit tactics. But it's more than that. Because if anybody is surprised that we play like this after 3 years, something ain't right in there. It's not this. It's not the fact that we play shit football. It's more than this. You know, you look at the situation. Okay, we have been playing terrible football, but this terrible football has brought us into European finals. You know, this terrible football is effective in certain games. So yes, 100%. The way we play does limit the way we create chances and the way we perform in these games. But it's more than this. It's more than this. It's the way we treat these transfer windows. Somebody explain me the use in buying Renato Sanchez. Somebody just explain me the use in buying Rasmus Christensen. And again, he scored an own goal yesterday. I rewatched the game. Christensen was actually the only one who actually cared yesterday. So yes, he scored an unlucky own goal, but I'm not here to criticize him. You know, until we buy players like, I don't know, Awar, where are we expected to go? And it's the mentality of these players which is not good enough. It is not good enough. We have a fucking captain who doesn't speak. Our captain doesn't open his mouth. Tell me if that's good mentality. We have players who aren't hungry. You know, so what I want to see, and again, I want this game, and the way Mourinho has dealt with post-match interviews, I want this to be a turning point. I want this to be a turning point and follow something new. Follow something new. Try something new. Try a new project. Because it's not working out, ladies and gentlemen. It really is not working out. It's not working out. And look, again, I like to balance myself. So I'm not blaming Mourinho after such a game. Because yes, I'm blaming his tactics. But, you know, let's be honest. Mourinho is the only one who cares out of this group. You know, Mourinho is the only human being who cares in this mix. Who cares about these fans. He speaks about them week in and week out. You know, I have to be honest with you. He is the only one who cares. And until the manager cares, I will never turn against him. And he wants to stay, and he has said that he's willing to change the project, to change the way he's lived football himself, but he wants to stay. So until he's like this, I will never turn against the manager. Never. Because we need individuals, not just players. We need individuals who care. And the only individuals who care about performances, who care about the badge, at this moment of time, are Mourinho and Eduardo Bode. Nobody else. And that is worrying. Because when two of your own individuals care, out of a group of 40 individuals, 30 individuals, that's exactly where the problem is. That's exactly where the base of the problem is. You know, look, there are a lot of people. I've read this in the comments of Instagram posts. I've read this, you know, on YouTube and all of that. There are a lot of people who want the manager out. But it is also true that, you know, Fonseca got thrown under the bus because he didn't have a big name. Di Francesco got thrown under the bus because he didn't have a big play. And after that Champions League semi-final run, he was a mediocre manager. Zeman got launched under the bus because he didn't care about defensive tactics. It's more than just managers. And until people will think that the manager is the reason a team succeeds, it's bad. Because a team succeeds not because of its manager. A team succeeds because of its players. You know, Guardiola, Man City didn't win that treble because of Guardiola. Yeah, Mourinho didn't win the treble because it's Mourinho. Mourinho won the treble. City won the treble because they've got the players. So until people think that managers are the ultimate reason for a success and a failure of a football team, again, that's weak mentality. Because the manager doesn't play. The manager isn't the one who passes the ball around. Yes, the manager is the one who implements the tactics. But you could get any manager here in this current situation with these players who don't care, and you wouldn't do anything. Because ultimately it's not him who plays, it's the players who play the game. So I'm actually surprised that after such a game, Mourinho has publicly, officially come out and said he wants to stay. The Renato situation, I do think it's embarrassing on its own, because I think subbing a player in and then subbing him off after 50 minutes is embarrassing. But I will also say he got subbed in for 15 minutes. And he didn't get, I'm not even exaggerating when I say he didn't get one pass correct. You know, why do I need to keep him? And again, okay, yeah, the move maybe was a bit embarrassing by Mourinho, you know, subbing and then taking him off. But the message is clear. The message is clear. Renato, please tell me to what extent Renato Sanchez cares about this team. Please tell me how on earth Renato Sanchez is starting over Bove in these games. Please tell me how. Please tell me how Bove isn't starting week in and week out when he is the only player who cares. Only player who cares. Look, blame it's everybody's fault. I'm not saying it's just the players. You know, Mourinho has to be blamed too, because we don't play football. And that we got outclassed by Bologna yesterday because they played football compared to us. So everybody is to blame. So, you know, don't take what I said in a sense that I'm defending Mourinho, he's not to be blamed. Because that's not what I'm saying. Everybody needs to be blamed. Manager, ownership, players, Thiago Pinto. Money we spent, situation we're in. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. Bologna don't have any good player except Zirkzee. They are in the 4th position because they play very well and the players run on the pitch. We have good players but a bad manager. Bologna are where they are because they care, mate. And look, they will probably collapse because I just can't see Bologna keeping this up until the end of the season. They will run out of petrol. But no matter where Bologna will end up this season, it's going to be a massive success for them. Why is this? Because the players care. Because the players run on that pitch. You know, I mean, look at that first goal we conceded. And look at Cristante. Cristante took 33 years to turn around and start running to try and get the ball back. It's just not good enough. And then look at our calendar. We don't win big games. I am not being negative here. I could be proved wrong here. But I'm trying to be real. We're going to lose against Napoli and we're going to lose against Juventus. And if we don't get refreshed by Christmas, and if we don't get players back by Christmas, And if our mentality doesn't change by Christmas, I'll also add another thing. We'll get thrown up by the Europa League and we'll lose to Atalanta and Milan as well. And if we lose the next 4 Serie A games, we'll be in like 13th position. So, I don't think we'll win against Napoli. I don't. Because I have lowered expectations, my friends. After 3 years, I've understood. Because again, I'm not trying to brag here, but I'm not stupid. And after 3 years, I've understood that this team, without Dybala, is shit. And look, maybe we can win on Sunday against Napoli because the Bologna game will change the mentality and every single player will give it its best. And maybe we even win against Napoli and I will be proved wrong and I will look like an absolute idiot saying this. But at time of speaking, after seeing that game, after seeing the fitness of some of these players, after seeing the mentality of some of these players, and after seeing the quality of some of these players, how the fuck do we win against Napoli? It's just not going to happen. And look, it's always, again, it's always this infinite loop. It's this loop where we take 2 steps and we go 1 step backwards. Take 2 steps and go 1 step backwards. And it's just, look, I will never, it's gonna take obviously more than just a fan saying what the problem is, because maybe people might, contradict with me and not agree with me, but in my opinion, this is the problem. The problem is attitude. The problem is attitude, because you can't say that our team is shit. That's not how it works. Our players aren't shit. It's the attitude that some of these players have. Bologna is the perfect example. Bologna, on paper, we have a better team, but if the players don't want it, you will never win. You will never win, and that's a law. That's a law of this game. I don't know how everybody feels. I was surprised after reading a lot of fans being surprised about yesterday's game. I was very surprised. I was surprised about seeing fans going, "Oh my God, how do we lose against Bologna?" I was surprised by the fact that a lot of our fans actually think we are better than Bologna, when in reality we are not better than Bologna, and Bologna are better than us. Because just because we have a team with Lukaku and Dybala in it, yes, on paper it's better, but as I said multiple times in this video, it's more than just that. So we go from here. I mean, for me, what Mourinho said is very interesting, because it doesn't happen very often that a manager is going against his own project. After 3 years of us not winning 1 big game, the manager has realized that this project is not succeeding, and that the way that we're spending the money in big names, because our definition of big names are players like Dybala and Renato Sanchez. And, Dybala is amazing, but he's 80% injured throughout the season. Renato Sanchez, to us, including me, I was so hyped when he came. Renato Sanchez, doesn't give a shit, and is always injured. So that's the definition of big names. Big names at Roma doesn't mean Erling Haaland. Big names at Roma doesn't mean Kylian Mbappe. Big names at Roma means Renato Sanchez and Thingy Mabobi. And that's not good enough, because these players are not good. What I want to see is Pisilli, Bove, Pagano starting next season. That's what I want to see. Maybe not starting, but I want to see a project built around Pisilli, Pagano, Bove. And obviously not sell everybody, because that's not going to happen. Dybala, in my opinion, needs to stay, but we need to buy somebody better than Dybala who can give him rotations and all of that. I would love to keep Lukaku, but apart from Lukaku and Dybala, I've never been more serious since I am on YouTube. Clear the team out and start Bove, start Pisilli, start Pagano, because those are the players who actually care. Those are the players who would shed blood for this team. Those are the players who would die for this team. Have we seen Pizzilli scored a goal in a useless game? He started crying because that's the team he supported since he came into this world. That is the definition of players who care. And that is what I want to see with a manager who cares. And that's exactly why, until Mourinho is like this, until Mourinho is so illusioned by us, until Mourinho cares about us and keeps on saying the truth about us, he will forever be a manager. And people will argue that's not going to work because Mourinho isn't good enough when it comes to young players. And I partly agree. You know, Mourinho, if our project needs to be Pizzilli, Bove, Pagano and all of that, maybe Mourinho wouldn't be the perfect manager to do so. But we need also a manager who cares. And in my opinion, it's all about attitude and it's all about mentality. And until this doesn't change on that pitch, we will never make that jump. And that's just the way it is. So, look, I'm going to catch you later on with my reaction to Feyenoord. Feels like we're cursed. It feels like it's a nightmare. We are their biggest nightmare and they are our biggest headache. That's the perfect definition. But yeah, I'm going to catch you tonight to speak about that, to speak about the final draw. If you enjoyed this match reaction, I mean, do share your opinions and do smash the like button. Please do, because this is the beauty of these YouTube communities. You know, I would love to win every single game, but the reality is harder than this, and the reality is deeper than this. So I want to hear fans even when we lose, and even in not crisis, because this isn't a crisis, but a crisis of not winning big games. I want to hear your opinions. So feel free to comment down below in the chat. I'll catch you tonight. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, bring it on. Bring the next few things on. What do we have next? I mean, I'm also gonna speak about Pellegrini. Have a dedicated live stream about Pellegrini because I'm slowly changing my mind about a captain who doesn't speak, a captain who doesn't score, and a captain who looks absolutely lost. And yeah, talk to you soon. See you out.